An important message from Parker & Wakeman for people who have taken the prescription drug Vioxx. The manufacturer of Vioxx has recently pulled this popular arthritis drug from the market over health concerns. Recent studies show users of Vioxx may suffer heart attacks, strokes, and even sudden cardiac death. If you've taken Vioxx, call Parker & Wakeman now. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Parker & Wakeman today at 1-800-LAW-INFO. That's 1-800-529-4636.
Medical studies show that patients who take Plavix are at an increased risk of serious bleeding, including hemorrhagic stroke, TTP blood disorder, gastrointestinal bleeding, bleeding from ears, eyes, and nose, bleeding ulcers, subdural hematoma, and death. The FDA recently issued a new black box warning for Plavix. If you or a loved one suffered serious side effects or died after taking Plavix, you may be entitled to money damages. Call Audette & Partners at 1-888-99-AUDETTE or visit us online at audetelaw.com.
Urgent news for people who took the diet drug Meridia. Meridia was promoted as a safe alternative to lose weight. Meridia has now been associated with severe side effects, including heart attacks, strokes, brain damage, pulmonary hypertension, and even death. If you or a loved one has developed health problems after taking Meridia, or you know someone who has died after taking Meridia, call the Hurt Line. The law offices of James Scott Farron can help. Call the Hurt Line right now.
Thousands of surgical patients were given the anti-clotting drug Trazolol without their knowledge during heart, orthopedic, and spinal surgeries. Trazolol has been linked to severe side effects including kidney damage, strokes, heart attacks, even death. If you or a loved one had surgery that resulted in renal failure and dialysis, you may have a valuable legal claim. Let the attorneys at Lanham Blackwell help you hold the drug companies accountable and get you the compensation you deserve.
Attention, certain fentanyl pain patches have been recalled because of a defect that can cause a fatal overdose.
This is serious. If someone you know has died while wearing a skin patch for pain, the manufacturer may be to blame. Call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you or a loved one used this patch and were injured, call me right now. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
The FDA has issued a warning because the pain patch has been linked to fatalities. If you know someone who has died while wearing the pain patch, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
There are strict time deadlines. Don't wait. If someone you know has died while wearing a skin patch for pain, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
There are strict time deadlines. Don't wait. If someone you know has died while wearing a Duragesic skin patch for pain, call 800-647-1919. That's 800-647-1919.
Attention cholesterol patients. Baycol, a cholesterol-lowering drug taken by 700,000 Americans, was recently pulled off the market. Baycol has been linked to serious injury and death in patients using this drug. The problem? Baycol causes severe muscle destruction, weakness, fever, nausea, vomiting, and possible kidney failure. Baycol users, call the personal injury attorneys at the law offices of Donald Edgar at 1-800-545-6409. That's 1-800-545-6409.
Attention liver damage victims.
Tylenol and several other pain relievers have been linked to liver failure. If you were ever hospitalized for liver problems, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
We are only representing victims who died or were hospitalized for a liver injury after taking Tylenol. Call 1-800-759-9393. That's 1-800-759-9393.
Have you suffered serious injury after using the recently recalled blood-thinning drug heparin? Our investigation has revealed that many batches of heparin have been contaminated. We have traced the problem to manufacturing facilities in China. If you or a loved one has ingested heparin within the last year and either died or suffered a serious injury, call this number immediately to learn about your legal rights. Call us toll-free 1-877-283-3852 to speak to an attorney. Call now to protect your legal rights.
Attention! The FDA warns that the diabetes drug Actos has been linked to bladder cancer.
If you've taken Actos and now have bladder cancer, or if a loved one has died from bladder cancer after taking Actos, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you or a loved one took this drug and were injured, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
If you have bladder cancer, the diabetes drug Actos may be to blame, and the manufacturer of Actos may owe you compensation for your medical bills and your pain and suffering. Call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
800-547-8899.
There are time deadlines to file a claim, so call us right now.
If you've been diagnosed with bladder cancer, or if a loved one died from bladder cancer after taking Actos, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call 800-547-8899. That's 800-547-8899.
Attention women using the Mirena IUD. After insertion, the Mirena IUD can move, causing perforation of the uterus or intestines. It can cause abscesses or pelvic inflammatory disease. It can also cause infertility. If you or someone you know has experienced serious side effects following the implantation of the Mirena IUD, please call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free confidential consultation.
Attention! The prescription painkillers Darvon and Darvocet have been pulled from the market.
If you suffered serious heart-related problems or cardiac toxicity, or if a loved one died from a heart-related problem or else committed suicide while on Darvon or Darvocet, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
Call the Goldwater Law Firm right now for a free case evaluation.
Call 1-800-332-8585. That's 1-800-332-8585.
If you've taken the drug Reglan, especially children and elderly women, this message is for you.
If you or a family member has taken the drug Reglan and have been diagnosed with tardive dyskinesia, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
If you or a loved one has taken this drug and were injured, call us right now. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
If you've taken the drug Reglan and have been diagnosed with tardive dyskinesia, call 800-257-5495. That's 800-257-5495.
This is a dangerous drug alert.
Hello, I'm Terry Crouppen from the law firm of Brown & Crouppen. My law firm fights giant drug companies that make drugs that hurt people. Here's a drug we're tracking right now. The Duragesic patch is a prescription painkiller used for severe chronic pain. It's been recalled because usage of the patch has been associated with serious injury and death. Remember, we're Brown & Crouppen. We fight giant drug companies that make drugs that hurt people. So call us for free at 421.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention! Studies show that a popular bladder pain medication may be linked to vision problems. This medication is used to treat interstitial cystitis, also known as painful bladder syndrome. If you or a loved one have experienced vision issues or vision loss after taking a bladder pain medication, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law, 1-800-902-5252 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-902-5252.
Attention users of Avelox, Cipro, and Levaquin.
The FDA warns that these commonly prescribed antibiotics can cause severe nerve damage. If you took Avelox, Cipro, or Levaquin and then developed paralysis or were diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
Call 1-800-660-1010. That's 1-800-660-1010.
A blood thinner Pradaxa may cause serious internal bleeding and heart attacks. The FDA is evaluating reports of serious bleeding events in patients taking Pradaxa. The manufacturer has linked hundreds of deaths to Pradaxa since 2010. If you or a loved one took Pradaxa and suffered from gastrointestinal bleeding, cerebral hemorrhaging, a heart attack, or death, you may be eligible to receive compensation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG to discuss your rights with an attorney. Call now for a free consultation. 1-800-BAD-DRUG.
Attention diabetics. If you have taken the diabetes drug Avandia, listen carefully.
If you or a member of your family has suffered a heart attack, stroke, congestive heart failure, or death while taking Avandia, you may be entitled to financial damages from the manufacturer.
Call the toll-free number on your screen right now to be connected with an experienced attorney to find out what your legal rights are.
Despite the fact that the FDA has issued a safety alert to all Avandia users due to an increased risk of heart attack, stroke, congestive heart failure, and even death, the manufacturer is still selling Avandia.
Do not delay. There are time deadlines to file a claim. Call us right now to be connected to an attorney for a free legal consultation and to find out what your legal rights are.
Please, if you or a family member has taken Avandia and suffered a heart attack, stroke, congestive heart failure, or even died, call us now. You may be entitled to financial damages.
Attention, the Duragesic fentanyl pain patch has been recalled because of a defect that can cause a fatal overdose.
This is serious. If someone you know has died while wearing a Duragesic skin patch for pain, the manufacturer may be to blame. Call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you or a loved one used this patch and were injured, call me right now. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
The FDA has issued a warning because the Duragesic pain patch has been linked to fatalities. If you know someone who has died while wearing the pain patch, call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now.
There are strict time deadlines to file a claim, so call right now. There's no risk on your part. If we're not successful, you owe us absolutely nothing.
There are strict time deadlines. Don't wait. If someone you know has died while wearing a Duragesic skin patch for pain, call 800-977-4800. That's 800-977-4800.
Attention women taking Yasmin, Ocella, NuvaRing. Reports show taking these forms of birth control may increase a woman's risk of blood clots and strokes. If you or a loved one suffered a pulmonary embolism, a deep vein thrombosis, a stroke or heart attack while taking Yasmin, Ocella, Gianvi, Biaz, or NuvaRing, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free consultation. You may be entitled to compensation for your injuries. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.
Important message for users of the drug Vioxx.
The FDA warns that those who take Vioxx may double their risk of heart attack, stroke, or even sudden cardiac death.
On September 30th, 2004, the largest prescription drug recall in history was issued for Vioxx. However, researchers have suggested that Vioxx should have been withdrawn years earlier.
Merck, the multi-billion-dollar manufacturer of Vioxx, may be to blame for your heart attack or stroke. You could be entitled to a large cash award, but you need to act now to preserve your legal rights.
The law firm of Robert Goldwater and their affiliates know how to make companies like Merck pay for their mistakes. Call for a free case review today. Get the justice and financial compensation you deserve.
Have you or a family member been the victim of a Vioxx-caused heart attack or stroke? Call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now. Get the compensation the law entitles you to. Call 1-800-801-0900. That's 1-800-801-0900.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by attorney Robert Goldwater. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting a physician. If you or a loved one were addicted to name brand OxyContin or one of these other opioid medications and suffered life-threatening injuries, call now and in less than 2 minutes you can find out if you qualify.
You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
We're still working during this crisis and ready to take your call. Call 1-800-200-5500. That's 1-800-200-5500.
Medical alert to all users of ephedra. The FDA has issued a consumer alert. Ephedra can cause serious health risks such as stroke, heart attack, seizures, and even death. If you or a loved one have taken dietary supplements containing ephedra and have suffered a stroke, heart attack, seizure, or you know someone who has died after taking ephedra, call Stern, Miller, and Higdon today at 1-800-EPHEDRA. You may be entitled to a cash award for the harm caused. Call 1-800-EPHEDRA to learn your rights. Call 1-800-EPHEDRA.
Attention men, have you been diagnosed with skin cancer? One of the most widely prescribed drugs used to treat erectile dysfunction has been linked to the development of melanoma, a rare and potentially fatal form of skin cancer. If you've taken a prescription erectile dysfunction drug and were later diagnosed with a skin cancer melanoma, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law now. 1-800-250-2035 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-250-2035. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
If your child took Abilify and now has diabetes, listen carefully.
Abilify has been linked to an increased risk of diabetes in young people. If your child took Abilify and then developed diabetes, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
Call us right now. Both you and your child may be entitled to financial compensation.
If your child took Abilify and then was diagnosed with diabetes,
call 1-800-335-2748. That's 1-800-335-2748.
The Food and Drug Administration has linked Baycol to severe muscle pain, kidney failure, and death. The muscle pain is usually concentrated in the lower back and calf muscles. If you or a loved one used Baycol and suffered any of these symptoms, please call us toll-free at 1-800-876-4572. That's 1-800-876-4572. We are also investigating serious injury claims involving Meridia. For more information, call now at 1-800-876-4572.
attention, women who've taken birth control.
The popular birth control drugs Yaz, Yasmin, and Ocella have been linked to serious side effects.
If you've taken Yaz, Yasmin, or Ocella and have suffered a heart attack, stroke, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, or gallbladder problem, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you or a loved one has taken any of these drugs and were injured, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
The makers of Yaz, Yasmin, and Ocella may be to blame for your heart attack, stroke, pulmonary embolism, DVT, or gallbladder problems, and you may be entitled to money damages.
There are time deadlines to file a claim, so call us right now.
If you or a loved one took Yaz, Yasmin, or Ocella birth control and were injured, call 1-800-499-1166. That's 1-800-499-1166. 1-800-499-1166.
If you have diabetes and have taken the drug Avandia, you may be entitled to a cash award.
If you or someone you know has suffered a heart attack, stroke, or even died while taking Avandia, call attorney Jim Adler right now.
I'm Jim Adler, the tough, smart lawyer. If you or a loved one is taking this drug, call me right now. You may be entitled to a cash award.
If you've taken Avandia and have had a heart attack or stroke, call attorney Jim Adler right now at 713-777-4000.
Attention, if you have inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis, it may have been caused by the acne drug Accutane.
Several juries have recently awarded millions of dollars to Accutane victims, including awards of $7 million, $8.6 million, and $10.5 million.
If you or a loved one ever took Accutane and you now suffer from inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis, call 1-800-438-0808.
Attention Zocor users.
The FDA warns that the cholesterol drug Zocor can cause severe muscle pain, rhabdomyolysis, myopathy, and kidney failure.
If you took this drug and were injured, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
If you or a loved one took Zocor and suffered from severe muscle pain, rhabdomyolysis, myopathy, or kidney failure, call 1-800-487-4949. That's 1-800-487-4949.
This is a dangerous drug alert.
Hello, I'm Terry Crouppen from the law firm of Brown & Crouppen. My law firm fights giant drug companies that make drugs that hurt people. Here's a drug we're tracking right now. The FDA has requested the arthritis drug Bextra be taken off the market and a black box warning be put on the popular drug Celebrex. Both have been linked to heart attacks and strokes. Remember, we're Brown & Crouppen. We fight giant drug companies that make drugs that hurt people. Call Brown & Crouppen for free at 1-800-536-HELP.
Attention users of the blood pressure drug Benicar.
The FDA warns that the drug Benicar has been linked to severe intestinal problems, including abdominal pain, vomiting, chronic diarrhea, and sudden weight loss. If you or a loved one have suffered any of these severe symptoms after using Benicar, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
Call 1-800-341-8000. That's 1-800-341-8000. 1-800-341-8000.
The CDC recently announced there is a nationwide meningitis outbreak. It appears to be linked to a contaminated injectable steroid. Over 120 people have been diagnosed and 11 have died. The CDC says as many as 13,000 people may have received the medicine. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with meningitis from a contaminated steroid injection, please call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now. Non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention Avastin users.
If you or a loved one used the breast cancer drug Avastin and suffered gastrointestinal perforations, congestive heart failure, kidney disorders, permanent disabilities, or even died, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
If you used the breast cancer drug Avastin and suffered any of these injuries, call 1-800-391-5000. That's 1-800-391-5000.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by attorney Robert Goldwater. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting a physician.
Attention, ranitidine-based heartburn medications have been linked to cancer.
The FDA has called for popular ranitidine heartburn medications to be pulled from the market. If you developed cancer and were a daily user of heartburn medication, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now. Your heartburn medication may have caused your cancer, and you may be entitled to compensation for what you've been through.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you were diagnosed with stomach, bladder, kidney, pancreatic, colon, or any type of cancer after using a heartburn medication, call the Goldwater Law Firm. You may qualify for a cash award. If you developed cancer and were a daily user of heartburn medication,
call 1-800-690-4242. That's 1-800-690-4242. 1-800-690-4242.
Medical alert. This is an update to the millions of people who used Fen-Phen in the past. NBC's The Today Show recently reported that the diet drug Fen-Phen may still pose risks to those who took the drug for weight loss years ago. People are still being diagnosed with serious heart and lung conditions due to the effects of this drug. If you took Fen-Phen in the past and were recently diagnosed with a heart or lung condition, you may still file a claim by calling the law offices of Donald Edgar at 1-800-545-6409. Call 1-800-545-6409 today.
Have you heard about the $253 million Vioxx verdict?
Estimates of how many people have been injured by Vioxx, Celebrex, and Bextra keep going up. If you used one of these drugs and had a heart attack or stroke, I want to talk to you.
The $253 million Vioxx verdict may lead directly to money settlements all over the country.
if you used Vioxx, Celebrex, or Bextra, don't put this off.
Call 800-620-4422. That's 800-620-4422.
This is an urgent message. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with congestive heart failure or abnormal heart rhythms and given the prescription drugs Digitech or Bertec. Digitech and Bertec, though administered for heart problems, may have caused cardiac instability, kidney failure, or other serious side effects requiring hospitalization, even death. The FDA recalled these drugs after determining some pills contain double the appropriate dosage, causing serious side effects, even death. You may have a claim to compensation.
Call 1-800-598-1196.
OxyContin alert. OxyContin, a medication prescribed to treat moderate to severe pain in patients, now poses significant risks. The problem: OxyContin is a highly addictive prescription drug and has been attributed to unexpected overdoses, seriously injuring patients and sometimes causing death. If you or a loved one has been addicted or injured in connection with OxyContin, or you know someone who has died in connection with OxyContin, call our law firm today at 1-866-OXY-CODE. Call 1-866-OXY-CODE. We'd like to know.
Warning, the anti-smoking drug Chantix has been linked to serious injuries and suicides. If you or someone you know took the drug Chantix, this message is for you.
This is serious. Chantix has been linked to suicides, attempted suicides, and serious injuries following a blackout. If this has happened to you or a loved one, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
If you or a loved one took Chantix and suffered any of these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to a large cash award.
Chantix may be to blame for your loved one's suicide, attempted suicide, or serious injury following a blackout. Call the Goldwater Law Firm right now for a free legal consultation.
Don't put this off. There are strict time deadlines to file a claim, so call right now to see if you may qualify for a settlement. If you or a loved one took Chantix and were seriously injured or died, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now. Call 1-800-472-6611. That's 1-800-472-6611.
What would you call a drug that doubles your risk of heart attack, doubles your risk of stroke, increases your chance of severe intestinal and kidney damage? The makers of this dangerous drug call it Vioxx. The FDA has suggested that people taking Vioxx face twice the risk of stroke or heart attack. If you or anyone you know has experienced problems while taking Vioxx, call now for a free consultation and find out what your rights are.
Attention women, if you or a loved one took hormone replacement therapy drugs and developed breast cancer, this message is for you.
This is serious. If you developed breast cancer after taking hormone replacement therapy drugs, or if a loved one died from breast cancer after taking HRT drugs, call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. Several juries have recently awarded millions of dollars to women who took hormone replacement therapy drugs and developed breast cancer. To see if you qualify for a settlement, call me immediately.
Call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now to find out if you qualify for a cash settlement.
If you took hormone replacement therapy drugs and developed breast cancer, call me immediately. Your time to act is quickly running out.
Don't put this off. Your time to file a claim is quickly running out. Call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now at 800-840-0900. That's 800-840-0900.
Important message for users of Vioxx, Celebrex, or Bextra.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. Estimates of how many people have been injured by Vioxx, Celebrex, and Bextra keep going up. If you use one of these drugs and had a heart attack or stroke, I want to talk to you.
If you used Vioxx, Celebrex, or Bextra and had a heart attack or stroke, or if someone you know has died, call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now. You may be entitled to a large cash award. Call 1-800-728-4200 now.
Subsys is an opioid pain relief mouth spray. It was prescribed off-label to patients who did not have cancer. In some patients without cancer, Subsys caused death or serious opioid addiction. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
Have you or a loved one taken Meridia Diet Pills? Tell Robert. Meridia Diet Pills, manufactured by Abbott Laboratories, has been linked to an increase in the risk of heart attack and stroke. If you or a loved one have taken Meridia and suffered a heart attack or stroke, you may have a claim against the manufacturer. For a free consultation, call the law offices of Robert J. Fensterscheib, 1-800-LAWMAN-8 right now. That's 1-800-LAWMAN-8. And remember, you can tell Robert anything. Spokesperson, not an attorney.
Attention, the FDA has recalled the heart drug Digitech. A mistake was made and some of the tablets contain twice the prescribed dosage.
This is dangerous. If you've taken the heart drug Digitech and were hospitalized, call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you or a loved one has taken this drug, call me right now. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
This is serious. The heart drug Digitech has been linked to toxicity, organ failure, heart failure, and even death. If you've taken this drug, call the law office of Robert Goldwater right now.
The heart drug Digitech has been recalled. If you've taken the heart drug Digitech and were hospitalized, the drug company may be to blame. Call the law office of Robert Goldwater right now. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
Don't put this off. Call me immediately.
If you were hospitalized after taking the heart drug Digitech, call 800-858-6161. That's 800-858-6161.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took this blood thinner, listen closely. You may be entitled to money. Xarelto may be linked to an increased risk of irreversible internal bleeding, stroke, and even death. If you were hospitalized or if a loved one died after taking Xarelto, call now. You may be entitled to compensation for your suffering. Call Sokolov Law, 1-800-123-4567 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-123-4567. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention breast cancer patients.
A potentially dangerous chemotherapy drug has been linked to permanent hair loss.
Your cancer was physically and emotionally draining. Now the emotional trauma of permanent hair loss can be devastating. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you suffered permanent hair loss, call 1-800-646-7000. That's 1-800-646-7000.
Attention! The popular reflux and heartburn drugs Nexium and Prilosec have been linked to serious kidney problems.
If you took Nexium or Prilosec and then suffered kidney failure or kidney disease, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you or a loved one took Nexium or Prilosec and then suffered kidney failure or kidney disease, call 1-800-325-1900. That's 1-800-325-1900.
Attention Vioxx users. On September 30th, 2004, Vioxx was pulled off the market due to increased risk of heart attacks, strokes, and death to patients. If you or a loved one suffered a heart attack, stroke, or died while taking the prescription drug Vioxx, call today and discuss your legal rights. You may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-22-VIOXX. That's 1-800-22-VIOXX. Let us fight for you. Call 1-800-22-VIOXX.
Attention, if you've had a corneal transplant, this message is for you. A new study by the CDC says that Renew with Moisture Lock may be to blame for your corneal transplant.
If you used Renew and have had a corneal transplant or suffered blindness, call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. Bausch & Lomb is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and you may be entitled to a large cash award. Call me immediately.
Call 1-800-805-2211. That's 1-800-805-2211.
Warning, heparin has been linked to hundreds of deaths.
Severe injuries have also been reported. Organ failure, low blood pressure, shock, or even death.
All of these things are indications of heparin poisoning. Call us. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
If you've had any of these symptoms, call 800-513-1600.
Vioxx is a drug prescribed for arthritis and pain management. Vioxx has suddenly been withdrawn from the market worldwide. Vioxx has been associated with an increased risk of heart attacks, strokes, and blood clots. Vioxx can change your life forever. I'm Terry Crouppen from the law firm of Brown & Crouppen. If you've been hurt by Vioxx, maybe we can help. Call us today for free at 1-800-536-HELP.
The OrthoEvra birth control patch has been marketed as a safe birth control method, but that may not be true.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you've used the OrthoEvra patch and have had a heart attack, stroke, blood clot, or pulmonary embolism, you may be entitled to a large cash award.
The OrthoEvra patch may be to blame for your heart attack, stroke, blood clot, or pulmonary embolism. Call the law firm of Robert Goldwater.
1-800-641-3399. That's 1-800-641-3399.
When Terrell Hogan identifies important health and safety information, we want to share it with you immediately.
I'm Wayne Hogan, and this is one of those times.
COX-2 inhibitors, Vioxx, Celebrex, Bextra. Research implicates these drugs in causing heart attack and stroke. We've prosecuted claims against Vioxx for years. For too long, drug makers disputed the research, but now the truth is coming out, bit by bit. If you or a loved one suffered a heart attack or stroke after taking Celebrex, Vioxx, or Bextra, now is the time for action. Call Terrell Hogan, 722-2228.
The federal judge responsible for the fen-phen class action has established deadlines for concluding litigation. If you or a loved one has used fen-phen or Redux, please listen carefully. Symptoms include shortness of breath, chest pains, memory loss, and fatigue. However, heart damage is possible without experiencing any symptoms. Call 866-772-LAW-2 now. The manufacturer of fen-phen, Pondamin, and Redux has set aside billions of dollars to compensate injured victims. Exercise your right to compensation today. Call 866-772-LAW-2 now.
Attention men.
A new study shows that prescription testosterone products increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes. If you've used any type of testosterone gel or injections and then suffered a stroke or heart attack, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you took testosterone and then suffered a heart attack or stroke, call 1-800-483-5858. That's 1-800-483-5858.
Attention men diagnosed with melanoma. A brand new study has linked Viagra to this dangerous skin cancer.
If you took Viagra or Cialis and then developed melanoma, call the Goldwater Law Firm. These drugs may be to blame for your skin cancer.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you took Viagra or Cialis and then developed melanoma, call 1-800-304-5300. That's 1-800-304-5300.
An urgent update to the millions of people who took Vioxx. The Wall Street Journal recently reported the following about the seller of Vioxx. Merck knew Vioxx caused an increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Merck tried to intimidate researchers to not lecture on Vioxx's dangers. Merck tried to hide the dangers of Vioxx. If you or a loved one suffered a heart attack or stroke while taking Vioxx, call 1-800-22-VIOXX. That's 1-800-22-VIOXX. We will stand up to this corporate giant.
Attention, the Duragesic fentanyl pain patch has been recalled because of a defect that can cause a fatal overdose.
This is serious. If someone you know has died while wearing a Duragesic skin patch for pain, the manufacturer may be to blame. Call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you or a loved one used this patch and were injured, call me right now. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
The FDA has issued a warning because the Duragesic pain patch has been linked to fatalities. If you know someone who has died while wearing the pain patch, call the law firm of Robert Goldwater right now.
There are strict time deadlines to file a claim, so call right now. There's no risk on your part. If we're not successful, you owe us absolutely nothing.
There are strict time deadlines. Don't wait. If someone you know has died while wearing a Duragesic skin patch for pain, call 800-977-4800. That's 800-977-4800.
Medical alert from the law offices of Handler, Henning, and Rosenberg. Patients taking the prescription drug Serzone may be at risk. Serzone is prescribed to treat depression and has been linked to severe liver problems and even death. If you have liver problems or are receiving a liver transplant and have taken Serzone, call the law offices of Handler, Henning, and Rosenberg immediately. You may have a claim. Call the law offices of Handler, Henning, and Rosenberg at 1-800-422-2224 for a free consultation.
This is important news for people who have taken the drug Propecia for male hair loss or Proscar for enlarged prostate and suffered complications requiring medical treatment. Propecia and Proscar, which contain the same drug, have been linked to sexual dysfunction, certain prostate cancers, and male breast cancer. If you or a loved one took the drug Propecia or Proscar and were then treated by a medical doctor for sexual dysfunction, certain prostate cancers, or male breast cancer, call the number below right now. The consultation is free and confidential, and you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. If you or a loved one were injured by the hair loss drug Propecia or injured by Proscar, a drug prescribed for enlarged prostate, call now and see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. This confidential call is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call the number below right now. Operators are standing by.
Attention, if you received a shoulder pain pump after your arthroscopic surgery, there is a chance you could develop shoulder cartilage disintegration, or PAGCL.
This is serious. If this has happened to you or a loved one, it's important that you call me right away. You may be entitled to a large cash award.
If you've used the shoulder pain pump and had any of these symptoms, call the Goldwater Law Firm at 800-538-7979.
Attention, the blood-thinning drug Pradaxa has been linked to internal bleeding and strokes.
If you took Pradaxa and then suffered from internal bleeding or a stroke, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
If you or a loved one took this drug and were injured, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
If you or a loved one took Pradaxa and then suffered serious internal bleeding, a stroke, or even died, call 1-800-735-9000. That's 1-800-735-9000.
Chantix users, if you or a loved one have suffered a heart attack, blood clot, or stroke after using the Stop Smoking drug Chantix, call 1-800-LAW-FIRM now.
This is a dangerous drug alert.
Hello, I'm Terry Crouppen from the law firm of Brown & Crouppen. My law firm fights giant drug companies that make drugs that hurt people. Here's a drug we're tracking right now.
Vioxx, a widely used arthritis and pain medication, has suddenly been taken off the market worldwide. Vioxx has been linked to heart attacks, strokes, and blood clots.
Remember, we're Brown and Crouppen. We fight giant drug companies that make drugs that hurt people. So call us for free at 421-HELP.
Attention! Several recent studies have linked the prescription drug Abilify to compulsive gambling.
If you lost over $30,000 gambling while taking Abilify, call the Goldwater Law Firm. You may be entitled to a substantial out-of-court settlement.
If this has happened to you or a loved one, call us right now.
If you or a loved one took Abilify and then lost over $30,000 gambling, call 1-800-603-8400. That's 1-800-603-8400.
Attention diabetics, the FDA has just issued a warning that Invokana may cause an increased risk of amputations.
If you took the diabetes drug Invokana or Invokamet and then had an amputation, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If this has happened to you or a loved one, call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
The makers of Invokana and Invokamet may be to blame for your amputation. This shouldn't have happened, and you deserve to be paid for what you've been through. Don't miss out on the compensation you may deserve. Call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Prescription drugs like this should help you, not hurt you. Call us right now. Don't miss out on your chance for financial compensation.
If you took the diabetes drug Invokana or Invokamet and then had an amputation, call the Goldwater Law Firm. Call 1-800-295-3000. That's 1-800-295-3000. 1-800-295-3000.
What would you call a drug that increases your risk of having stroke by 41%? Breast cancer by 26%, heart attack by 29%. The makers of this dangerous drug call it Prempro. A Harvard University study recommends doctors stop prescribing Prempro. The American Heart Association says do not start or continue using Prempro. If you've experienced any of these conditions while taking Prempro, call this number so that we can help determine if you've been injured by this drug and help in your fight against those responsible.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention! Depo-Provera, a birth control shot, has been linked to brain tumors. Lawsuits allege that Depo-Provera birth control injections may increase the risk of a meningioma, a dangerous tumor that grows around the brain and spinal cord. If you received Depo-Provera shots for over a year and had surgery or radiation as a treatment, you may be eligible for compensation. Call Sokolov Law at 1-800-706-2600. 1-800-706-2600. I'm a paid non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention diabetics, the FDA has just issued a warning that certain diabetes medicines may cause an increased risk of amputations.
If you took a diabetes medication and then had an amputation, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you took a diabetes medication and then had an amputation, call 1-800-915-8000. That's 1-800-915-8000. 1-800-915-8000.
OxyContin is a painkiller. If used the wrong way, it can lead to addiction that can ruin lives. Some people call it oxy, OC, killer, even hillbilly heroin. But whatever you call it, OxyContin has caused a lot of people a lot more pain than it ever took away. I'm Terry Crouppen. My law firm, Brown & Crouppen, helps people who've been hurt by OxyContin. Call us for free at 421-HELP.
Taking Depakote or Topamax while pregnant may cause birth defects. Recently, the FDA strengthened its warning for Depakote. If you took Depakote or Topamax during your pregnancy and your child was born with spina bifida, a cleft palate, a heart defect, or other serious birth defects, you may be entitled to compensation. If you or a loved one took Depakote or Topamax while pregnant and your child was born with any birth defect, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free confidential consultation.
Attention! Thousands of Synvisc knee injections were contaminated and have been recalled.
If you received a Synvisc knee injection for your osteoarthritis pain between October and December of 2017, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you had a Synvisc pain relief knee injection and then developed an infection, call 1-800-457-7300. That's 1-800-457-7300.
The FDA is evaluating new data linking Byetta, Januvia, and Victoza to pancreatic cancer. Our law firm is currently investigating claims for those diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Also, we are investigating claims for those taking Byetta who are diagnosed with thyroid cancer. If you or a loved one took Byetta, Januvia, or Victoza and were diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, or took Byetta and were diagnosed with thyroid cancer, call 800-604-0154 for a free confidential consultation. Call 800-604-0154 now.
Attention, users of the arthritis drug Actemra.
If you or a loved one took the arthritis drug Actemra and suffered a heart attack, stroke, lung disease, or an intestinal rupture, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you or a loved one took Actemra and suffered one of these injuries, call 1-800-971-1000. That's 1-800-971-1000.
The cholesterol-lowering medication Lipitor may increase the risk of diabetes in women. The FDA recently added this increased risk of diabetes to the warning on Lipitor. Our law firm is helping women taking Lipitor who have been diagnosed with diabetes. Please call 1-800-BAD-DRUG to discuss your rights with an attorney. As reported by Reuters, studies show Lipitor may cause an increased risk of diabetes in women. Call now for a free consultation. 1-800-BAD-DRUG. Non-attorney spokesperson.
I'm a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Attention Tylenol users. Have you or a loved one suffered from liver damage? Have you taken Tylenol or other medications containing acetaminophen? Acetaminophen may cause severe liver damage, even liver failure. If you or a loved one has taken Tylenol or other drugs containing acetaminophen and have suffered from liver damage, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-239-7382 now for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-239-7382.
If you have inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis, it may have been caused by the acne drug Accutane.
If you took Accutane or one of the generic versions, Amnesteem, Clarivis, or Sotret, and you now suffer from inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. If you or a loved one has taken any of these drugs and were injured, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
Call the Goldwater Law Firm right now for a free consultation and to see if you may qualify for financial compensation.
Several juries have recently awarded millions of dollars to Accutane victims, including awards of $7 million, $8.6 million, $10.5 million, and $25 million.
If you or a loved one took Accutane and now suffer from inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis, call 1-800-661-6969. That's 1-800-661-6969.
Attention men, have you taken Androgel or another testosterone therapy product and suffered a heart attack, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, or any other cardiac event? Scientific studies indicate that the use of testosterone therapy or low T products may double a man's risk of heart attack. If you or a loved one took Androgel or another low T product and suffered a heart attack, stroke, or any other cardiac event, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Call Schmidt National Law Group now for a free confidential consultation.
Attention parents.
The drug Abilify has been linked to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes in children. If your child took Abilify and was then diagnosed with diabetes, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. Call us right now. Both you and your child may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If your child took Abilify and was then diagnosed with diabetes, call 1-800-481-4444. That's 1-800-481-4444.
Attention, users of the diabetes drug Actos.
The FDA warns that Actos may be linked to bladder cancer. If you've taken Actos and now have bladder cancer, call the Goldwater Law Firm now.
If you took Actos and then developed bladder cancer, call us right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation.
If you or a loved one took Actos and were then diagnosed with bladder cancer, call now. Call 1-800-759-9393. 1-800-759-9393.
A recent article in the USA Today shows the diabetes medications Byetta and Januvia may be linked to pancreatic cancer. Our law firm is currently investigating claims for those who took Byetta or Januvia and were diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. If you or a loved one took Byetta or Januvia and were diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free confidential consultation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.
Remove the green form to the claimant.
There is some suggestion that you don't need a lawyer to get your share of the $7.5 billion fund for fen-phen victims. They will send you a form, 76 pages long, small type, with words like derivative claimant and endomyocardial fibrosis. Sound confusing? Unless you have a medical or law degree, it is. Still think you don't need a lawyer? Think again. Call us for a free case review by a doctor and a lawyer and qualify for your free echocardiogram.
Attention, mothers and fathers of children with birth defects. If you took the anti-seizure and migraine drug Depakote while pregnant, listen carefully.
Birth defects are a mother's worst nightmare. It's a terrible thing for a family to bear. If you are a mother or father and your child has a birth defect, the drug Depakote may be to blame.
If you took Depakote while pregnant and your child was born with one of these birth defects, call us right now. You and your child may be entitled to financial compensation.
If you took Depakote while pregnant and your child was born with heart problems, spina bifida, cleft palate, facial deformities, or any limb growth deformities, you and your child may be entitled to financial compensation.
I'm attorney Bob Goldwater. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so call us right now.
If you took Depakote and your child was born with heart problems, spina bifida, cleft palate, facial deformities, or any limb deformities,
call 1-800-710-5577. That's 1-800-710-5577.
If you or a loved one has suffered from a femur or thigh fracture, Fosamax, a commonly prescribed osteoporosis medication, could be to blame. Fosamax is used in the treatment of osteoporosis in postmenopausal women. Femur fractures do not usually occur without trauma. If you suffered a femur or thigh fracture and were on Fosamax, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. You may be entitled to compensation. It is urgent for you to act immediately to protect your legal rights. If you took Fosamax and suffered from a femur or thigh fracture side effects, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.
Long-term use of Reglan, a medication used to treat reflux, has been linked to tardive dyskinesia. Symptoms of TD are involuntary movements of the extremities, lip smacking, grimacing, or tongue protrusion, rapid blinking, or impaired movement of the fingers. If you or a loved one has taken Reglan and been diagnosed with tardive dyskinesia or has these symptoms, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. You may be entitled to compensation for your injuries. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free confidential consultation.
Attention, the FDA warns that the gout medication Uloric can cause heart attacks and strokes.
If you took Uloric to treat gout and then suffered heart attack or stroke, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
Call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you or a loved one took the gout medication Uloric and then suffered a heart attack, stroke, or other heart problem, call 1-800-922-1700. That's 1-800-922-1700.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by attorney Robert Goldwater. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting a physician.
Attention, the HIV drug Truvada may cause severe kidney and bone injuries.
If you took Truvada and then suffered kidney failure or osteoporosis, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you took Truvada and suffered kidney failure or bone fractures, call 1-800-979-3800. That's 1-800-979-3800.
Have you received a steroid shot to relieve back pain? An outbreak of meningitis has been linked to steroid shots provided to patients around the country. If you or a loved one received a steroid treatment and have been diagnosed with meningitis, you may be entitled to compensation. U.S. health officials believe that thousands of patients may be affected. Call 1-800-985-0973 now for your free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-985-0973. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Medical alert. PPA, an ingredient found in many of the over-the-counter cold medicines and diet drugs, is believed to be responsible for causing strokes, heart attacks, and death, especially in the overweight and young. Dexatrim, Accutrim, Aquasulcer Plus, Tavist cold medicine, Contact 12-hour cold capsules are just a few of the products that have contained the ingredient PPA. If you or a family member have suffered a stroke, heart attack, or know someone who has died and has taken PPA in the past, call the PPA Litigation Group at 1-800-489-6737. Call 1-800-489-6737 today.
Attention Fosamax users. The FDA has warned that the drug Fosamax has been linked to low-energy femur fractures. If you've taken the drug Fosamax and suffered an unexplained thigh fracture, call the Reliant Group right now to be connected with an experienced attorney for a free consultation and to see if you may qualify for financial compensation. You don't owe us a penny unless we're successful. If you or a loved one has taken Fosamax and suffered a thigh fracture,
call the Reliant Group at 800-604-5132.
Please pay attention to this important message. Recent scientific studies have shown an increased risk of heart attacks in men whom have used testosterone replacement therapy drugs. These drugs have also been linked to strokes, blood clots, and even death. If you have used any of these drugs and were injured, the manufacturers may be liable for damages. Call the Reliant Group right now. There is absolutely no risk on your part, and you don't owe us a penny unless we're successful. Call the Reliant Group at 800-284-6517.
Attention! If you vape or if your child vapes, listen closely. The design of these products and the high potency of nicotine in the device may addict young adults for life. Vaping can lead to serious health problems, including nicotine addiction, respiratory issues, strokes, seizures, and more. You may be able to recover money if you or your child is addicted to vaping or suffers from severe health problems from using e-cigarettes. A single-use pod may contain the same level of nicotine as an entire pack of cigarettes. The brains of young adults suffer the most from nicotine addiction because their developing brains are more susceptible to long-term harm. It's time to hold vape companies accountable. Compensation may be available for those addicted to vaping or suffering from vape-related health problems.
Call Sokolov Law 1-800-685-3926 for a free legal consultation. 1-800-685-3926. 1-800-685-3926. I'm a non-
Attention diabetics. The FDA warns some type 2 diabetes drugs, including Invokana, may lead to ketoacidosis, a condition which causes dangerously high blood acid levels. Kidney problems have also been reported. If you or a loved one take Invokana or another drug listed and were hospitalized for ketoacidosis or kidney problems, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law 1-800-936-2764 for a free legal consultation. 1-800-936-2764. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention parents of boys who took Risperdal. Risperdal, a medication for the treatment of ADHD, autism, and bipolar disorder, has been linked to gynecomastia, a medical condition in which boys develop female breasts. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG today if your son has taken Risperdal and been diagnosed with gynecomastia or has grown female breasts. Your family may be entitled to significant compensation. Several claims have already been settled. For a free confidential consultation, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now. Non-attorney spokesperson.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by attorney Robert Goldwater. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting a physician.
Attention, the heartburn medication Zantac has been linked to cancer.
The FDA has called for the popular over-the-counter heartburn medication Zantac to be pulled from the market. If you were diagnosed with cancer and were a daily user of Zantac, call the Goldwater Law Firm right now. Zantac may have caused your cancer, and you may be entitled to compensation for what you've been through.
If your loved one was a daily user of the heartburn medication Zantac and were then diagnosed with cancer, call us right now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation.
If you were diagnosed with stomach, bladder, kidney, pancreatic, colon, or any type of cancer after using Zantac, call the Goldwater Law Firm. You may qualify for a cash award.
Call 1-800-540-5454. That's 1-800-540-5454. 1-800-540-5454.
Attention women using NuvaRing for birth control. Use of NuvaRing may increase the risk of blood clots, pulmonary embolism, strokes, deep vein thrombosis, or sudden death. If you or a loved one has suffered a blood clot or other serious injury while using NuvaRing, please call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free consultation. You may be entitled to compensation for your injuries. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free confidential consultation.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention Yasmin, Yaz, and Acela users. Yasmin, Yaz, and Acela oral contraceptive drugs have been reported to cause adverse side effects such as blood clots, stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, liver damage, gallbladder disease, or even death. If you or a loved one took Yasmin, Yaz, or Acela and suffered from any of the injuries listed on the screen, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-536-8078 for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-536-8078.
As if dealing with arthritis pain weren't enough, millions of men, women, and even children were given prescriptions for Vioxx. A prescription that doubles your risk of heart attack. A prescription that doubles your risk of stroke and can cause severe intestinal and kidney damage. A prescription for disaster. Vioxx has been removed from the shelves, but for many, the damage is done. If you or anyone you know has suffered medical problems while taking Vioxx, call now for a free consultation and find out what your rights are.
Taking antidepressants while pregnant may cause heart, lung, and other related birth defects. If you took Zoloft or any other antidepressants while pregnant and your child was born with a heart defect or pulmonary hypertension, you may have a claim. The FDA issued a public health advisory for SSRIs, including Zoloft, regarding additional risks of SSRI medications during pregnancy. If you took Zoloft or any other antidepressants while you were pregnant and your child suffered from a heart defect, pulmonary hypertension, or other birth defect, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG for a free consultation. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG now.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention! Studies show that the popular bladder pain medication Elmiron may be linked to vision problems. Elmiron is used to treat interstitial cystitis, also known as painful bladder syndrome. If you or a loved one have experienced vision issues or vision loss after taking Elmiron, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law, 1-855-311-1942 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-855-311-1942. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention women who have taken birth control. The commonly prescribed birth control pills Yaz, Yasmin, and Acela have been linked to serious injuries.
If you or a loved one have taken Yaz, Yasmin, or Acela and suffered deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, blood clots, stroke, heart attack, or your loved one even died, call the Rely On Group at 1-800-860-0905. That's 1-800-860-0905.